Both sides are off, and I only cut myself once.
Making money like a mint, laying in my ice like shrimp, mint condition that I'm in, coming with the freshness.
So I'm starting to prep these back quarter panels for the windows that I'm going to put in here on both sides. And the first thing you got to do is remove this cross support. So I've already drilled out the spot welds in each of these 4 tabs. And then I took a hammer and a screwdriver and then just pounded them out. So it's already pretty loose. So now I'm just going to try to remove this. Ooh. So that was a little easier than I thought. I'm gonna clean this stuff up and then I'm gonna sand all this sheet metal down, put some top coat on, and then we should be good to do the other side. Ooh! Both sides are off, and I only cut myself once. There's glue on the panel you can actually just remove with your fingers. Just get in there and pull it off. So. Back at it today, and we're going to be working on these universal windows in the back rear panels. I've got my template all taped up, ready to go. Looks beautiful, and I'm going to do something similar to what I did for the sliding door. I'm just going to put 2 holes in here and let this template hang outside on drill bits, just so I can see how it looks on the outside of the van before I make the final cut. And I taped all of this up because those metal shavings just fly all around. So hopefully this time I can get them all and not be cleaning for weeks. So yes, almost done with the worst part of the van in my opinion. Outside of the van, this is what it looks like. It looks pretty even. I'm about 3.5 from the top to the bottom of that ridge. Yeah, looks nice and straight. So I think we're gonna get prepared here and then go for the cut again. Got the first window fitted. after back and forth a few times with the jigsaw and the file. But it's fitting pretty flush now, and we're gonna pop it out and throw some of this rust prevention primer around the edge, let that dry, and then screw in the frame. Got the window in, hand tightened all of the screws around. Started them with the drill first, low torque, and then hand tightened so I didn't strip them out. So we're gonna do a spray test quick. Looks like all the outside seams are fine, but just right in here, I don't know if it's coming, if the window's bad or if the seam isn't tight enough. So I just talked to my father-in-law who works on windows for a living, and he said it's fairly common for these sliding windows to end up with like this little bit of water in here, and then it drains down into the weeping holes. So I feel a little better. There's no leaks underneath. It's just water seems to come in through this little gap and then drain out. So I think we're gonna call this okay for now and watch it before I frame it, and then kind of make a decision, or maybe just call CR Laurence and see what they think. Okay, if any of you are having trouble troubleshooting this window, the problem is 100% the slider. And like I said, my father-in-law actually designs windows for a living, so he was really helpful for this. But he said sliders will never be 100% leak proof. So it has to do that. And we tested that by basically blocking off this seam here on the outside, spraying above here, and there were no leaks. As soon as you unblock that, water basically drips down and then into here and then out the weeping holes. So I think that's totally normal, and we're just going to move on to side number 2. Here is my second template I made, and I made 2 of them because they don't seem to be the exact same, but you just put a hole in the middle here. It actually drops in flush so you can see where you need to make little edits. So we're going to get this up on the wall. Here's the template on the outside of the van. Looks the same as the other side, so we're gonna go ahead and cut that out. I put tape up all along here because this is a giant piece of metal and there are some gaps. So shavings are gonna fall down in here, and I don't want them to get stuck behind here and then end up rusting. So hopefully everything just falls down. Hole number 2. First time. Stoked. Get this bad boy popped in. here's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. All these shavings, these would all be behind this piece of metal and they would all rust. And then you'd end up with yellow streaks down your van. We're gonna paint this with rust preventative primer, wait for it to dry, and then pop the frame in. Okay, after struggling for a bit, these are in. These screws strip out really easily, so I would pre-drill all of these. Just make sure you don't go through the van. But we're gonna do a spray test quick here, and then hopefully we are good to go. Try it on the power spray. Window is in. Passed the leak test. Now for the crucial best part of installing windows. Oh yeah, now that one's officially in. So this one does the same thing as the other one because it's a slider again. It does pool a little bit in the bottom, but then it drains out of those weep holes. So we're gonna keep an eye on it, but I think that's normal for these windows. Again, like I said 5 times already. Now, this window isn't quite done yet because the sticker's still on here. Let's go ahead and finish this one too. Oh yeah. Now that one's done. Whew. Here's what the windows look like on the inside of the van. It definitely makes the space feel a little bigger with all the natural light. And yeah, super stoked with how these turned out. I was hesitant about putting them in, but I'm glad I did. Now, as always, make sure your templates are really well done. Take your time making them, and just take your time with the jigsaw and it'll be fine. I guess my big tip would be to pre-drill these holes for these screws, just because they do strip out really easily, and make sure you hand tighten them. Don't use the drill. But yeah, if you have any questions about these windows in particular, leave me a comment below. I will be posting videos throughout my van build process. So as always, subscribe if you're interested, and we'll see you next time.